Right, we good to go?
Yeah, everything is recording.
Everything's recording. All right, excellent. In that case then, hello one and all. My name's John Clare. This is
Roman Fresh.
and this is the Post Watch Post Mortem. And we are just after watching Puss in Boots: The Last Wish because, you know, something a bit different. And I quite liked it.
I liked it too.
I quite liked it. I thought it was a good call on your part. Because we were contemplating doing John Wick 4 just to round out the fact that we've done the trilogy like back to back. I think we will pick it up at some point, but, you know, I think Puss in Boots is probably a good call because, you know, modern animation, it's not long, you know, in terms of it being released in the cinema, it wasn't that long ago. I think it was back in April, was it?
No, it was back in April, yeah.
So, yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was quite a good little movie. You know,
It was February.
Was it February?
Last February.
Okay, so back in February. So it's about 5 or 6 months old. You know, so while not exactly, you know, part of the zeitgeist, we might be a little bit late on picking up on it. But then again, when are we ever on time? Mm-hmm. So
We're the Post Watch Post Mortem.
exactly.
We're not the watch now. Post. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, well, basically, we could never be accused of our finger being on the pulse.
No.
Of modern culture. We're just like picking up on things when we feel like it. And yeah, I thought this was a good call. I thought great animation. Love the animation style. Mm-hmm. Character designs are pretty fucking outstanding in general. This is one of the films that, you know, I always go on about budgets. I mean, anyone who's watched previous episodes of this podcast will attest to the fact that I go on ad nauseum about budgets. This one, apparently, according to Google, came in at $130 million US, and I would say this is one of those films that every single red cent of that went up on the screen. Also, the cast, you got Antonio Banderas as Puss in Boots. He's been picking. I think he's been doing that since the second Shrek movie.
Shrek.
Was it Shrek 2?
What was the name of Shrek 2 again?
I can't remember. It was Shrek 2.
It was just Shrek 2.
Yeah, it was just Shrek 2. So I think he played Puss in Boots. So he's been playing that role for about 20 plus years. You got Salma Hayek, who I am not ashamed to admit has been a crush of mine for the best part of 30 years. And she still is a crush of mine because she still looks absolutely phenomenal.
Were they both playing together in the movie Legend of Zorro? With Antonio Banderas?
No, that was Catherine Zeta-Jones, I think.
You sure? I think it was...
Yeah, Desperado is the film that we're together in.
The first thing, like the first one that came in mind, like I'm sure Salma Hayek was in Legend of Zorro.
No, it was Catherine Zeta-Jones.
You sure?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. The Welsh actress, another woman who I had a massive crush on and still looks phenomenal now.
There's a lot of
Michael Douglas, you're a lucky bastard. But yeah, so Salma Hayek, I've always had a massive crush on her. Still do. She looks bloody amazing. And I don't think there's too many people who disagree. Also, Florence Pugh as Goldilocks, actually doing her, I think that's her natural accent, which is, you know, nice to hear.
I think there is a little bit of
there might be a bit of exaggeration, of course.
It's because it's a cartoon, and sometimes you want to make a character. The only way you can create a character is by the voice, you know.
Yeah, sure.
So like push the Spanish accent a little bit more.
Yeah, but Ray Winstone always. I remember watching The Departed, right? And Ray Winstone was attempting to do an American accent. He still sounded like a bloody Cockney, right? So, and I love Ray Winstone. Who doesn't? He's bloody brilliant. And Olivia Colman as Mama Bear. I mean, this has got a pretty bloody good cast, man.
Great cast, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like even the people I'm not so familiar with, like Baby Bear was played by a guy called Samson Kao. He was brilliant.
I thought he was.
Burrito was Harvey Guillén.
Who's that?
Burrito, the little doggy.
Oh.
That.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh yes, it's. I remember him from the show What We Do in the Shadow.
Was he in that?
He's in the show one, but not the movie.
Okay. I haven't watched. I have watched the show. I have watched it, but I just
watched a little bit of it.
Yeah, but yeah. So what else? So generally speaking, the cast is pretty good. The art style is. I love the animation, especially the character designs as well. The character design for the guy who played for Wolf, who's like the figure of death, and you know, like this hooded wolf figure with like two scythes.
Who's playing the wolf?
Who played the wolf?
Wagner Moura. That's him. Wagner Moura.
Oh, Wagner Moura. He's the dude who played Pablo Escobar in.
That's Pablo Escobar.
In Narcos.
That's why there's like it's so great to have like Spanish actor.
He's actually Brazilian. He speaks Portuguese.
He play Spanish. He play Pablo Escobar who speaks Spanish.
Yeah, and apparently, I remember actually hearing about this. I don't mean,
His accent is good.
apparently people used to take the mickey out of his accent 'cause he didn't sound Colombian.
Oh no, it doesn't sound Colombian enough.
Oh, like to us, it wouldn't make any bloody difference. But
because
no,
I watched the show a little bit, and it's good. Like yeah, it's
yeah,
good,
I thought it was brilliant as Pablo Escobar. But that's the thing, though. I mean, like we're
It's not his first language; it's Portuguese, but he's fluent. He's fluent Spanish.
Yeah.
I assume so.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you said yourself. I mean, you're a French speaker. Apparently, like if you go up to someone who speaks Spanish, like apparently it's the same in Germanic languages. Apparently, like I remember,
You can pick in like I'm French, and when I hear somebody speak French, I can definitely know if it's French or not.
yeah. But if someone's speaking Spanish to you,
I won't make difference. I won't make a difference. But maybe if you have a strong English accent while you're speaking Spanish, me gusta, como te llama, American. Does it go in American way?
Yeah, well done. Yeah, okay.
No, thank you.
Sarcastic
But like, what are you
back,
saying?
that
Sorry,
what
what are
deserved.
you saying? What are you saying?
Now, the point I was making was apparently, like, and again, I was hoping you could attest to this, but obviously not. With romantic languages, like, if you're speaking a Romance language, like which French is one, so if you're in Spain, you'd be able to pick up at least on the majority of what's being said, and vice versa. You can make each other understood.
I thought you were talking about the accent, but
No.
no, you're talking about the
The actual language.
origin. We share a same origin.
Yeah, Latin.
Yeah. For example, there's some lot of words that are like similar to French. There's a lot of words that are similar than like that same root. There's false friend as well.
Yeah, and I'm
There's
aware of those,
for example, chat for cat and gâteau for Spanish. You know? And gâteau is cake in French, but like
Oh, yeah.
there's a lot of misunderstanding. Like dos gatos for las patitas, and like say two cat for the kids. Like no, for the little girl, two cat for the little girl. Like so, what the fuck?
Well, it doesn't sound entirely unusual. Depending, if you went to a pet shop and said dos gatos, there wouldn't be so much of a confusion. If you went to a
Chinese restaurant,
if you went to a patisserie, no, that's more dogs.
dogs and cats. Dogs and cats.
Oh, we're not doing ourselves any favors.
No.
But yeah, no, I thought getting back to it though, I thought it was a really good film. I really enjoyed it. I mean, the animation style is fantastic. The character designs are fantastic. I love the bears.
A very, 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 very adult theme as well.
Yeah.
The anxiety. It's like it's a kid movie that talk about anxiety,
Panic attacks.
panic attack, and the fear of death.
Yeah.
When do kids' cartoon become so deep, and when did adult movie become so dumb?
Oh, that
That's
now is a question.
After like when I say dumb, when I say movie that dumb, I'm talking about maybe the one we talk about in the coming mind is like Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, that film
like,
was fucking stupid.
Also, this movie tried to talk about death and
Yeah.
the fear of there's no God and nobody can help you and only yourself.
Yeah.
And there is humor as well. There is comedy, and it's like it's colorful and lighthearted, but with the theme of cancer and everything.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think that movie hits more home than Thor Ragnarok. I'm saying that the Thor Love and Thunder, not Ragnarok. The cancer part in Thor Love and Thunder was very deep, very profound. It does hit at some point in the movie. It doesn't hit every time because most of the time they make fun of it.
Yeah, when they allow it to hit.
And when we allow it to hit, it hits.
Yeah, rather than undermining it every 2 minutes.
This movie hits every time. There is like
death.
With death is on your door. The death is in the show. The death is in showing on the screen. It hits hard.
Yeah. Yeah, and only that. I mean, the thing is also the one thing I liked about it is because like the death is embodied by this wolf character,
The big bad wolf.
the big bad wolf.
In one of the main bad guy in the 90% of fairy tale.
Well, that's the thing though, is because like if you go back through mythology, I mean things like in my art I draw quite a lot of wolves, so I kind of it's the thing is like when it comes to the wolf is something that's quite is like wolves, ravens, all these things that I tend to draw are things that are generally speaking they're both feared and revered in a way.
Respect.
Yeah, there's a definite respect there. I mean, like, but at the same time, there's an outright fear because because they represent something of the night. They represent death. They represent things that are,
It
it's like,
represents something that you can fight.
but you'll never win.
But like you can win once against death, but it always come back.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to truly defeat death.
No.
No. I mean, it doesn't matter what you try. At the end of the day, it's coming for a source. It's like, for instance, to give a personal example, just this week, there was a ceremony where we was up in Killarney, and my great aunt, she's buried in a cemetery in Killarney, and we went to what's known as the blessings of the grave. Right, and now I'm not a big religious person. I'm not exactly what we call a devout Catholic too. I haven't, I will only go to church on occasions that are, say for instance, if it's a remembrance service, because I want to be there to remember that person, or if it's or whether it's marriages or funerals. If it's a specific occasion regarding people that I'm both either related to or I care about, or both, I'll be there. But I don't go to church every Sunday because I don't believe in it. I'm not, although I am a Catholic, technically, I wouldn't say I'm a big believer in it.
No, it's part of your tradition.
Yeah, but
It's a tradition more than a religion.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's those kind of tropes, but those cultural touch points. You know what I mean? I mean, I do follow them, but the thing is, like, the one thing that was said in the service was that death is an appointment that none of us are going to be able to avoid. I mean, it is going to happen, and I think the fact that this movie was talking about such a mature subject. I mean, I think what really annoys me, right? And this is more in the West, because like we watched Akira a few weeks ago, and Akira is this very kind of, it's more, if you like, an adult animation, right? But the thing is with cartoons, and this, in the West, they tend to be seen as purely for children. And they often say the mark of a good animation, and this is what kind of Pixar managed to perfect back in the 90s before they kind of went wayward recently, is that, if you can appeal to both children and adults, you've hit it out of the park.
And also what I tell you, like when you make kids content, you have to make extra effort into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're dealing with
Don't
kids.
do something dumb and silly, because you mistreated the kids on the other end. You're not helping anybody.
No. Basically, if all you're doing is looking to sell merchandise, then, it is shallow and forgettable. And, we must restart an IP. But the thing is, this is already an existing IP. And it's taking on a subject, while done it in, at times, like you said, very funny, very light-hearted, really at times heartwarming.
If you take it to the first degree, it's a good experience. It's very funny.
Yeah.
And if you take it in a second degree,
yeah,
you connect as well.
Yeah, there's definitely something there, and not only that, there's something for all ages. Like again, a man of being in my early 40s, it's like when something like death is something I kind of examine a lot in my art as well, which I try to examine anyway. It's what I try to communicate. I'm not always successful with it, I appreciate, but it's something I do try and kind of explore a little bit. And the thing is, like when it comes down to it, it's like if you're talking about subjects like that, especially in a cartoon, and especially like an animation that's primarily based at children, I think you're right. You need to kind of like treat these subjects with a degree of respect, because they deserve respect. Do you know what I mean? And also, at the same time, though, it also has this wonderful message where, like, I mean, like, basically, the kind of like synopsis of the film is that Puss in Boots has basically wasted. He had 9 lives. He's wasted 8 of them.
He lived recklessly.
Yeah, he lived recklessly. He was this hero that didn't fear anything because he didn't need to fear anything because he wasn't because he had all these lives. That
9 lives.
He had 9 lives, but now he's in his 9th life. And he doesn't have that. He doesn't have the luxury of falling back on that anymore. So he has to find. He steals this map that gets him to the last wish.
That was at the beginning of the movie. They show that star that fall on Earth, and then you grant a wish to anybody who will find it.
Exactly. So then along the way, like he re-encounters a character, Kitty Softpaws, who is a prior
love interest. In the first movie, Puss in Boots, it was a love interest.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise that. I haven't seen the first one. But yeah, so she was a love interest to Puss in Boots that he betrayed, and in one of his previous lives. And then by the end, and he also encounters this little cute Chihuahua character called Barrito. And so along the way, basically, he not only reestablishes a relationship with a character he once cared about, but also he establishes a new relationship with a character that initially there was a reluctance to become, friendly with, but by Barrito's sheer kind of exuberance and being just outright bloody nice. He's probably the most purest of heart character in the entirety of the animation, right from beginning to end. And he's basically the example that everyone else follows, especially when it comes to Puss in Boots and Kitty Softballs. But he's basically the positive catalyst throughout all of it. And initially he's seen as this kind of stupid character, but he isn't. He's actually quite an important character by the end. So as the story progresses, he rekindles a relationship, establishes a relationship. Those relationships become much more prominent as the film goes on. And by the end, he realizes that rather than trying to wish back his 9 lives, he decides to
enjoy his life that he has lost.
Yeah, to value his life.
Because the only reason he died in his past life is because he didn't respect his life.
No.
He have no respect for his own safety, and
that's kind of that's in a way that's analogous to youth, because when you're young you don't realize that your life is finite. You think you're invincible, you can do fucking anything. There's possibilities abound in front of you, but you get to a certain point in your life when you realize, hold on a minute, no, things are important. I've got only X amount of time on this planet, and I've got to make it as fulfilling and as positive as it can be. And I think that is a wonderful message to pass on. So yeah, I like, and not only that, like I said, I love in a way, Death is kind of like the character in the film, Death, the wolf.
Very cool, cool design.
Oh yeah, very cool design. But also he's like a very important character in himself, because he basically makes he instills fear, and that's another thing they talk about, is the fact there's panic attacks, the fact that Puss in Boots feels fear.
The heart's like beating, like you only hear that, or the hair get rising up every time you hear the whistle.
Because the thing is, I know it seems hard to. A lot of people will probably be very surprised when they hear this from me. Some people won't be so much, but I've had panic attacks and anxiety attacks in the past, and they're fucking horrible. They are really horrible. So I remember when I was watching it on screen, and then all of a sudden, Perrito comes along to Puss in Boots and puts his head down on his belly, and then he kind of comes out of it again, and it's like, basically, it's
like it's a name for dogs like this. Yeah, like
little dog.
No, they are like some people who have panic attack sometimes have dog to help them with
comfort dogs.
Comfort dogs. Thank you.
Comfort dogs. So but yeah, I mean, it's just like it deals with these subjects with surprising tact. There's nothing throwaway. I mean, like, again, when it's funny, it's funny, but when it's heartfelt.
Hits.
Yeah.
When you need to hit a hit.
Yeah, there's some real earnest, emotional storytelling in there. And I think, again, a lot of people might be a bit kind of, they may look down their nose at that, but I think that's incredibly valuable. And I think that's, it shows how well done and well crafted this film was, And again, look, I've got no objection to people, to movie studio. Look, if you're making a good movie and it costs 130 million, which this movie was and did, I've got no objection to it. Made its money back as well, but it also told a really good story. And I think, I think when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, the most important thing in any storytelling medium, any of them, is the story that you're telling, the message that you want to pass on. That's what should be at the core of it. Everything else kind of falls into place after the fact. If you tell a good story, look at it this way. When Star Wars came out, it told this original story, this good, not necessarily an original story, but a story in an original setting at the time. It captivated the imagination and went on to make this massive blockbuster franchise that generated billions of dollars up until recently, when they completely when Disney completely mishandled the franchise. But yeah, I think what's important, at the core of any storytelling medium is story. If you're telling a good story, you would engage people, and they will want to come see it and see it again and again and again.
Build great character, make a great story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you put all the money into something and everything is like, the story is well told, the image is beautiful, the character are like believable.
Yeah.
and you can connect with them.
Yeah.
That's why you make something gold. Like, yeah.
Exactly. And I think that, I know we talk about scores as well. I mean, if I was going to give this scores, I'd give this high 8s, mate. I reckon it's that good.
Yeah. And also, I think we kind of live through a golden age right now of animation. Like we had the Spider-Man in the multiverse.
Oh, yes.
In the new Spider-Man Across the Multiverse.
Across the Multiverse Part 1, is it?
No. So it's Across the Multiverse. And the first one was called Spider-Man...
Into the Spider-Verse.
And Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
No, into Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Multiverse. It's like the first one. Into the Multiverse is the first one. Across the Spider-Verse is the second one. And there's the third one coming up as well, yeah. We haven't watched as like in the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse. So the first one is Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I said that.
And the second one is
Across the
Spider-Verse.
And
then what would be the first one?
Exit the Spider-Verse, I don't know. We'll find out in due course. But yeah, I think generally speaking, I don't think, I don't think we're living in the golden age of animation because Pixar you could argue Pixar kick-started this whole thing, but unfortunately they've kind of fallen quite badly lately. A couple of the films have come out apparently and have not made their money back. That's concerning.
I'm sure they're good.
No, it's not whether or not they're good or not. I mean, I haven't seen them, so I don't know. I'm not going to judge.
What's the third one? The last one, sorry.
Elemental.
Elemental, yeah.
Yeah, but apparently that hasn't made its money back. And the only reason why I can find that concerning is not because I'm worried about fucking Disney making money. They've got enough of it, the fuckers. What I'm worried about is if they stop making money, then what's to stop Disney and their shareholders turning around and saying, "Oh, we don't need Pixar anymore. Should we sell them off, or should we get rid of them?"
That's what is happening right now. The people are getting fired in Pixar and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I mean,
they're losing their job.
That concerns me because at the end of the day, if a business isn't making money, it gets closed down, or if an arm of a business isn't making money, it gets closed down.
And it's not a Pixar saying. It's Disney saying about it,
Yeah.
It's a bigger head that's deciding everything.
Yeah, it's the whole kind of evil corporation that's in charge of it all. Because at the end of the day, the only thing they really care about, I don't give a monkey's what they say about public image or PR or any of that. That's all fluff. You could ignore it. The only thing that you need to be that should concern anyone that's interested in creative media is at the end of the day, anything that's any kind of IP that's held by a major corporation, if it doesn't make money, they'll mothball it or they'll cancel or they'll shut it down. It's like apparently Disney's have closed down parts of their parks with like Star Wars in it and stuff like that. And that as a result is basically because of their own mishandling of the franchise. And again, I'm not a Star Wars fan. I could not honestly give a flying fuck. But in terms about Star Wars specifically, but what concerns me about how Disney have mishandled that franchise is that because they've mishandled it and they've basically buggered up any further interest in the franchise, but they potentially damaged the brand long term, the franchise long term. Mm-hmm. Then what will end up happening is eventually, who knows, Lucasfilm could end up getting sold on to someone else, and then a less capable set of hands is at
or more capable one.
Maybe more capable, but also less capable.
You don't need to see negative out of it.
No, I'm not. No, but it's not so much seeing the negative. It's more down to the fact that the worst case example, these things do happen. There's no point in kind of sugarcoating it. Mm-hmm. So I mean, Disney spent $300 million on bloody Indiana Jones. Why?
And Little Mermaid as well, or remakes.
Yeah,
making story remake.
Yeah, exactly. What's the point? You've already told them, and you told them better the first time around. What are you doing? Why are you messing with your legacy the way you are? Mm-hmm. This is why I say one thing I will say, right? I think this is pertinent to Puss in Boots. What Puss in Boots did very, very, very smartly, right? They used an existing IP to tell a new story, right? And
also a free IP as well.
Yeah, free IP, Puss in Boots, like nursery rhymes. Mm-hmm. But things like but the thing is, this is an ongoing franchise for DreamWorks. This has been going on. It's a sub franchise. It's like a spin off from Shrek, right?
Have you seen all the? Was it Little Jack? Is his name Little Jack, the bad guy, or Big Jack? It's called
Farquaad.
No, in the Puss in Boots movie that we just watched. What's the name of the bad guy?
Oh, Jack Horner.
Jack Horner. It's all the references to classic fairy tale thing. So he has the the umbrella of Mary Poppins. Even the bag, it's like the Mary Poppins like umbrella thing going on.
And
the apples.
and when he dies at the end, and he goes like that. There's that Terminator 2 reference.
All the reference to like the apples, like the poison apples.
Yeah.
He has the it's like it's so smart, like in this little like little thing. Like it was pretty cool.
And not only that, I think they teased a return to Shrek as well because
when they go back to far away. The places. I'm sorry I cut you there, but like I'm sorry to have done that. You're saying.
Oh well, no, okay, right. What I was saying was this, right? What was very smart is they use this existing franchise
IP, yes. Yeah, there's a couple of references. Yeah.
And what they've done is they've told a very smart, new, heartwarming story with it.
With a very deep undertone story.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, this is what you can do when you've got creative people with a singular vision. They can take an existing franchise and they can take it in a completely new direction. That's also valid. You know, it's not just creating new IPs. I think is bloody important, lads, because we are seeing this. I mean, I think like people's tolerance of Marvel after Endgame has been, it's been worn thin now. People's tolerance of the way Disney have treated Star Wars is more wearing thin. The way Warner Brothers have complete look, they're on how many reboots have they done of the fucking DCEU at this stage? Now James Gunn's now in charge. He's going to do a whole new thing. I mean, that's going to be another.
Going to start Batman and the Joker and Superman all over again now.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm sorry, but like Warner Brothers has completely mishandled that. They've also mishandled It seems they've mishandled the Harry Potter franchise.
And the thing that we should have learned is all those IP that nobody talk about could be talked about. For example, like what did Marvel did great is Guardian of the Galaxy. Nobody fucking give a shit about Guardian of the Galaxy before it come out.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck is Guardian of the Galaxy? Like,
they have been able to they have not been able to recreate that since though.
No.
Like, think about it. I mean, you look at all the new characters that are supposed to be coming out now. Like, who cares about any of them? Like, is anyone look? No one
Captain Falcon or like Captain America. Well, like, who cares now?
Well, things like, look, no one really gave a monkeys about Iron Man. Iron Man was always kind of like a BCT character. Like when I was growing up as a teenager,
it was not the main show. Like if you have to choose between Batman, the 90 was it 90
the animated series,
like all Batman the animated series, the Justice League, or just Iron Man.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is that with Iron Man, like as a kid growing up, I used to read
or X-Men.
Yeah, well, okay, to the point.
Sorry.
Right. When I was a kid when I was a teenager reading Marvel comics, right? I think I've got I think I had one or two Marvel of Iron Man, but I didn't give a monkeys about Iron Man. My characters were Spider-Man, Wolverine, Incredible Hulk, Ghost Rider. Those are the characters that I was interested in. There were other characters as well, but like Iron Man was way down, right? And Iron Man, although he's one of the OGs as far as Marvel's concerned, like he was never like top tier. But when Robert Downey Jr. in that first film, when it caused it was a surprise smash. Mm-hmm. It done really well, it done surprisingly well. And then at the end, Nick Fury turns up with Samuel L. Jackson, implying that there could be a grander universe. Everyone was like, exploding with possibilities. Like, oh my God, there could be like. And then you had the Avengers, and then it was amazing. And then
there was Captain America after, and then there you go. Yeah,
exactly. And they successfully built the franchise, and fair play to them. They've done a brilliant job of establishing it. But in terms of maintaining it after Endgame, I think they've really fucking fumbled it.
I don't think you can maintain something forever.
No,
sometimes you just have to let it go.
Well, I think to be honest, what I think they should honestly consider doing at some point is just turning around and pumping the brakes on Marvel altogether instead of saturating the market like they have done for the last When did Endgame come out?
Give it a break. I think Endgame
2019, wasn't it?
So give it a break.
Yeah,
give it a break.
Do you know what I mean? Make people miss it.
Yeah, make people like. Do you know what that movie did as well? I think a lot of people went back and watched all the Shrek movies. Because, do you know what? Like the last Shrek movie was like in 2000, 18 or 2000. Shrek 4 or something like that.
Okay, and
I don't know, but like.
Did it do well?
No, the Shrek 4 or something like that. After the second one, they start losing their thing.
The luster.
The luster. But like I think after Puss in Boots came out, a lot of people went back to first Shrek. or the second Shrek, we were great. I remember
Yeah.
from my memory, I remember they were great. And you know what? Just sometime leave time, and then like,
Bring it
oh,
back.
by the way, you remember what we used to do and stuff like that? Here's what we no, here's a new thing that we just create. And you know what? Let's go back to what we did beforehand. You know, like
Yeah.
and that's nostalgia. That's real nostalgia.
Yeah.
Excel also like, oh, do you remember the thing I showed you like last week? I make a new thing. Oh, do
Yeah.
you remember the thing I showed you last week? Last week I make a new thing. It's like it's too much.
Well, yeah, the thing is, like, you look at like what is it, Secret Invasion? Like, I haven't watched it. I don't care to watch it. Do you know what I mean?
Oversaturated.
Yeah, it's oversaturated. Who cares? You know what you're missing now. Like I said to you before, it's like if it's gotten to the point now with Marvel, like you know
They
what?
don't
It's like the comic books.
They also don't take time to make a good story. The only thing that's good is they have to be released now because that's the window. You have to be released in that window because this movie coming between, and we need like a little appetizer before the people watch the movie. That's the only thing they think about.
Oh, yeah, but also the problem is, like, I think the problem with Marvel now is, right, because I remember back in the day, the one thing that used to like drive me mad about reading comic books is like something happened and it referred to another comic, and then you'd be like, oh shit, I don't have that comic, I've got to go buy that comic now. So it got to a point where you're buying comics just to find out what happened, right? Because some character in another comic referenced another issue in this previous comic that you've now got to go look for and buy.
That's what happened in in
And
Marvel now.
Yeah. So in the Marvel, so now you need a Disney Plus subscription as well as going to the cinema or waiting for them to come out on streaming before you kind of can catch up on what's going on in the Marvel universe. It just gets exhausting.
But then the story doesn't appeal to you anymore.
No, because you're spreading it so fucking thin. Do you know what I mean? I mean, okay, you've got loads of characters, but why aren't you telling more? I mean, like the Marvel style now, they're no longer experimenting. They're releasing the same fucking movie every time. I've watched now that, after watching Thor: Love and Thunder. I think the only ones I saw Shang-Chi, wasn't impressed by it. I thought it was quite. I thought it started off quite promisingly. Then it turns into a fucking Marvel CGI fight at the end.
But talking about Marvel, the perfect thing is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, who came in 2018, and they let the time go.
Partly down to COVID.
Partly down to COVID. I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't think of that.
Yeah, but anyway.
The thing that, the resting time they give it to the movie kind of help a lot as well.
Yeah. And not only that.
Because you're making, the more time you let, the more nostalgia build up.
But yeah, not just nostalgia, but anticipation.
Also, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because what happens is, like, especially, I think this is kind of, in a strange sort of way, this is the benefit animation has, because animation is more expensive and it takes longer to do. Mm-hmm. Even if you are only doing like 12 frames a second, like they were doing, although they were kind of varied. Sometimes it was 12 frames a second, sometimes it was 24. It's like amazing what they were doing.
But like since Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, it was basically, I won't tell enough. Since this movie, we got like a massive, huge upgrade in animation. Oh no, not upgrade, but like it's a renewal, like a rebirth of animation movie.
I hope so, anyway.
Yeah, because also Spider-Man, what did is he manipulate frame rate, he manipulate.
Yeah, you could definitely see that influence with Puss in Boots: Last Wish.
Yeah, so for example, like I think there was high frame rate when it was flying around or thing, or you know, like sometimes
also,
it would be like.
Also, the use of perspective and foreshortening.
Oh, the beginning is so massive and
that fight with a giant at the start.
Yeah, it's
brilliant.
That's how you make a start, like, you know, like it's like a big massive start.
It makes an impact and it makes it straight a fucking way. Do you know what I mean? That's what I thought. So it does. You know, it's just so well done. And not only that, I mean, how long is it? What's the actual running time? 1 hour 42. Doesn't outstay its welcome. So if you include probably credits, you're probably looking at about an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Come in, tell a really good story. And the thing is, like, all the characterization is really well done. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a couple of subplots with the Goldilocks and the Three Bears and
very
Jack
cute,
Horner.
very cute thing. Like, like going off,
especially like because all the bears got Cockney accents. So do you know what I mean? I can relate. Like Ray.
I love. I love Mama Bear. Mama Bear was so great.
Yeah, Olivia Colman and Ray Winston and Florence Pugh as Goldilocks. And yeah, like I said, Samson Kayo as Baby Bear. I mean, like, I like the fact that, you know, they all had their Cockney accents. They're all like, you know,
Give them character.
Yeah, it gives them a little bit of personality. I think because like it contrasts well with like the kind of like the sexy Spanish tones of like.
And
Puss
then
in
there's
Boots.
this rough, bare British,
Yeah.
not like the finesse of Spanish eloquence and stuff like that. And or I'm love.
Yeah.
Or my.
Yeah. I think I like it when also I like it the fact that it's not quite. It doesn't go into stereotype. It's just on the right side of it.
No, it's respectful. It's
Yeah.
funny but respectful.
Yeah, I mean, like they're on the just the right side of stereotype, like, to the point where it's not grating; it's actually funny.
Yeah.
It's like I'd say with the Spanish, like the Spanish sort of. Like,
As someone who lived in London, you smiled.
yes,
You smiled. You're like, oh,
Yeah. I was like, oh my god, that's Ray Winston.
you don't feel insulted.
No, I don't feel insulted, and I think that's what I like about it. I like the fact that they veered just on the right side because it could have been grating. It could have been really annoying.
Just like don't yell too much, Camille.
Am I shouting?
A little bit.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I don't realize I was. It's the freaking headphones. It's throwing
No,
me off.
like it's okay, it's fine.
All right, then. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's like I really like what they did with this film. Really do.
And do you know, it's a great movie. Watch it with your kids.
Yeah.
Watch. Do you know what? It's an enjoyable movie. I think. Can you imagine the parents going to see Puss in Boots for their kids? Like, oh, I'm just going to bring my kid to cinema. I don't really think. And then they're like, oh my god, that was great.
Yeah, man.
You know, like yeah.
Well, that's what you want.
The kids coming out, like the kids are pumped up. The parents like pumped up. It's like, wow, that was a great movie. Like, you know, like
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the great thing about like these kinds of films because again, if it appeals to kids, you've got the jokes, you've got the cute characters, you've got the action, you've got and you've got the amazing animation style, but also you've got the subtext. You've got like when you're an adult, like when you're a kid, you look at the wolf. He's this big scary wolf.
it's a big bad wolf.
Yeah, big bad wolf. But then you're an adult and you're watching that, and he's the personification of death.
Like not metaphorically,
No.
not
Literally.
no. I like this line of I'm death, and I mean death, not metaphorically, not philosophically. I'm death straight up.
Yeah.
That's like, oh my god, that's so cool.
Exactly. So that's the thing, though. I mean, and the thing is, like, again, I love the fact that it uses like the animals in as ciphers that already exist within mythology, within fairy tales.
Like, a cat has 9 lives. We all know that. So make a story out of it. You know,
Exactly.
Like,
And they've done a brilliant job of it.
So it's just something as simple as that. You know, like the theme is, Puss in Boots has lost his last life, and death is coming for him. You know, like, and he's trying to evade it. You know, like, like a simple idea like this, and they just make a beautiful movie out of it.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, I think it's really good. I mean, in terms of like the scores it got, like got 7.9 on IMDb as its average. I think it's better than that. Like I said, I reckon it goes high 8s. If it was to give you the exact score, I'd probably go 8.8, and I mean that as a compliment. That's
I'll give it 9, or do like close to 9. You know.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I can understand that too. Right, with Pushing right. So what did Rotten Tomatoes? Oh my God! Look at the scores on this.
It's a good movie.
95% fresh, and an audience score of 94%. It's not often you see those kinds of scores marry up in that way on Rotten Tomatoes. So I think that is absolutely fantastic. Do you know what I mean? So no, I wholeheartedly agree. Do you know what I mean?
And you know, it's so cool. I like this visual of this shot there. You know, like the first shot when like every time he's starting to be reckless and starting to like do something dangerous, Puss in Boots hear the whistle and see death coming up. And that shot there, you know, like when the the eye, you know, like what's it called when animals have like reflecting purple that can see, when you can see like
the retinas,
black or white, you know, like a reflection thing.
Yeah.
And you know, like when you do this and when you do this with the eyes, and they are gold, like 2 coin.
Oh, they are
like,
2 gold coins.
No, they're not. It's just this.
No.
It's animal. It is this animal, like, you know, like how do you call this reflection?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Is there a word for it?
I don't know the exact word for it. It's just
But
like
it's
reflection of retinas.
yeah, it's a reflection in retina, and it looked like 2 golden coin. Like
No. Do you know what? No.
they are. I know they are.
Yeah,
But,
and do you know what they symbolise?
It's death. Like of course it's
Right.
death.
No. But also no.
It's the toll.
Yeah, it's what you pay. It's what you pay the ferryman.
Yeah, he's the ferryman.
You put 2 gold coins on the eyes.
Look, like this one. That's the one. That's that shot.
That looks so class.
But like, do you see? This is the animal, like,
Yeah, it's a play on it, but they are literally 2 gold coins because but it uses very clever. It uses those visuals very cleverly.
yeah. Or for example, there's a lot of. Have you seen in the movie? There's a lot of play with reflection and mirrors.
Yes.
For example, like at some point you see Puss in Boots seeing Kitty, and Puss in Boots has a reflection of Kitty in his eyes. So basically, like it is the thing that he wants is Kitty. So in his eyes, you'll see a reflection of Kitty. But in the movie, Kitty doesn't have the Puss in Boots in his eyes because it's like, I don't give a shit.
Also,
like,
another thing that
later in the movie, they both have their reflection in each one eyes. Like,
yeah. But also, sorry, I don't mean to kind of cut you short.
Go on.
But there's one thing that kind of comes to mind as well. It's like the whole thing about like every time, like just before death becomes it appears in the scene, it's like, what's the matter? You seen your life flash before your eyes? And there's little montages of what goes on, and then death is there.
Death is at the door. Yeah.
So oh man, it's so much like clever little kind of plays on
character design and
and tropes within storytelling and tropes within like just like your life flashing before your eyes.
It's so disgusting how the goon die in the thing, like like with the baby unicorn. Like it's not the unicorn crossbow, they are baby unicorn crossbow. So it's even more like evil, like and they like every time they got shot, they like explode. They're like
in fireworks.
In fireworks, of course, they cannot explode in blood shed. Right. They're like no. So like, but that was pretty funny as well. Like, the beeping as well with the little dog. They put like censorship into his.
Oh yeah.
That's also makes so funny for adults is just to put that beep there. Like.
Yeah, I think to be honest with you, I mean that's the kind of thing I expected them to do with Deadpool when he got involved in the Marvel Cinematic Universe rather than going full PG, rather than going full what's the American rating like?
PG-13?
No, not PG-13. That's the average. That's what is it? R-rated. Oh yeah, R-rated. Like in America, it's R-rated. In the UK, it'd be 18. I don't know what it is in Europe.
I don't know. No, I don't know. But like a parental advisor or something like that.
Something like that.
But yeah, also like what's his name of the cricket? Jiminy Cricket?
Oh, Jiminy Cricket was in it as well, yeah.
Yeah, the little Jiminy Cricket, like, I'm your consciousness. I'm a consciousness. You're a monster. Oh. Yeah. Like this, like the evil guy that's just like, he cannot be redeemed.
Oh, no, he's an absolute... The thing's like, he's one of those bad guys. It's like, you know what, I am a bad guy.
Fuck him. Just fuck you, I'm a bad guy.
Exactly.
Don't give a shit about it.
Exactly. And it's like, you're an irredeemable monster. It took you this long to work that out, or words to that effect. I just thought it was nicely done, and also like
his character as well, like a baby head and a massive body.
Then he takes at one point he takes the phoenix out and like starts choking it and starts using it as a flamethrower.
Look at this frame there. So like the animation, the movement, and everything.
Do you realise now that you're editing these, you're going to have to show these?
No, I'm showing there. There's okay.
Do you know what he's also going to do now? Because I'm going to really make him put the work in. He's actually going to show it here now.
Well, here.
Right here.
There's the frame I talked about.
Right here, exactly. That's what he's talking about now.
Yeah.
So every time he shows me something now, what he's going to do is he's actually going to put this up on screen so you guys can share.
I'm not going to do
what we're talking about.
I'm not going to do it. Yeah, the movement, the use of lens, fisheye, and you're like getting up close and stuff like that. Like for example,
full
like
shortening and perspective and everything else.
Reflection, a lot of reflection,
and a lot of reflection. No, I think it's a bloody good film. Mm-hmm. It's a bloody good film. And
with adult theme and you're like
100%. I think this is the kind of film that again I wish Hollywood was making films like this, not just like fairy tale films or anything like that, but just films with a bit of intelligence and a bit of craft and
a bit of respect.
Yeah, and having a clear vision.
Mm-hmm.
Like Thor was an absolute shambles. And it cost 250. It cost twice the budget of this movie. Mm-hmm. This cost 130 million. That cost 250.
That's personal as well. Like some people loved Thor.
I'm sure they did. But the thing is, if you look at the scores on, I can't be bothered. But if you goes back to Rotten Tomatoes and look, it's a useful at a glance bit of information. It's not the be all and end all. But in terms of like seeing how the audience and the critics married up. If you got that close of a relationship, generally speaking, you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to at least have a good time with it. Mm-hmm. Thor was all over the shop. Like
The story was all over the shop.
the quality was all over the shop. It was just like one of those movies.
No, the story was poorly written. Like when they go to the god kingdom, and they go there to ask for the help. But let's hide first, like
yeah.
it's
Characters
and
doing
then
things that
and
make
then
no
it's just
sense.
like oh, we're gonna steal this. Did you just wanted their help? You're gonna steal them something? Like it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, none of it makes any sense. It's absolutely
It's like a kid did the scenario like.
yeah. I mean, and yeah. I'd say the way it works is like they didn't know what story they wanted to tell, and they were trying to make it up on the fly. And they thought, oh yeah, we've got loads of money, so we can cobble something together, and it'll still look good. Well, I'm sorry, it didn't. It looked awful at times. It looked cheap at times. I think with animation, I mean, this is probably where animation doesn't have that kind of leeway.
Because you make a frame count.
Yeah, every frame has to count. You can't get away with, even in this day of CGI animation, like you can't get away with dicking around as much.
There's no fixing his post.
There's no fixing in post. It has to work from the get-go. Do you know what I mean? And the fact is, like, if you got a singular, I generally think when it comes to like creative ventures like this, if you've got a singular vision, now who's the director?
He did
Joel Crawford and Juanel Mercado.
basically the guy Joe Crawford did Kung Fu Panda 2.
Okay,
I haven't watched it.
I
I really like the first one. I think
I've
the
never
first one was
watched
good.
them, so I don't know.
I think they're good animation movie. And he did a Troll as well.
Never heard
Troll,
of it.
yeah, it's like do you like the little like troll with the hair thing.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, but not going to see that either. And he was into animation. He did animations movie before.
Okay, but I'd say with this, like, what they managed to do extremely well is like they knew the story they were going to tell. They knew they knew what each character's motivations were. They knew, what the end result was going to be. So they didn't have any leeway to dick around with it. They had to make it count. And I think creativity is born out of constraint. Mm-hmm. I know I labour that point, and I'm going to continue to do it.
Animation has a lot of constraint.
Yeah, even look again with budgets. Like, okay, it's a lot of money, right, for an animation, but they have to make. Again, you can't mess around with it.
No.
It's not the same. You can't do pick up reshoots.
No.
You may be able to kind of like.
Oh, sorry.
He's playing footsie with me under the table. Aren't I a lucky boy? You can't get away with dicking around and like making things up on the fly, because at the end of the day, you've got a team of animators who've got to animate this shit. Do you know what I mean? And that ain't cheap. So like those constraints are there from the get go. So if you've got a story that you want to tell and you do it well, like I think Puss in Boots did quite effectively, then I think when you're doing live action, even then, like, it's almost as if they think they can, like the fix it in post mentality. I think honestly, like, if anything, I think right now there's these strikes going on with like the writers and the actors. Everyone's going on strike, and I think a lot of it is down to they deserve to be paid a living wage. I want to see them do that, and I think by the sounds of things, I think their strike is justified.
Me too. I think
wholeheartedly.
Have you heard the latest one? They want to take because of AI, they want to take actors' likeness, like recreate them. So basically, they don't need actor anymore to play in movies.
See, this is the thing. Do you know what the problem is with Hollywood, all right, and executives and people like that? Is what they want is they want the old success, but now.
Yeah.
Right.
They want the same success.
Yeah, no, but what they want to do is they want to rely on old tropes. And now, wait a minute, we're using a CGI and AI, we can use older actors. We can like bring back Marilyn Monroe and James Dean and cast them in new movies. Do you know what I mean? I think why? Like what? At the end of the day, if Hollywood is any fucking cop on whatsoever, and unfortunately, again, this is executives. So what they're going to do is they're going to go on prior success and try and replicate it, rather than trying to create new successes. Because it's the new successes, it's the new IPs, it's the new stories and the new technologies and ways of storytelling that will bring in a new audience. Because you've got to bear in mind, like what people watched 10 years ago, like. And again, I think where my age is, this comes in quite useful. Like back in the 90s when I was growing up, right, I watched, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy a lot of what I watched back then, But my taste in cinema, my taste in books, my taste in art, my taste in everything, my taste in music, they evolve over time. And when 18-year-old me is not going to be the same as an 18-year-old now. They're going to have different tastes in music. They're going to have different tastes in fashion. They're going to have different tastes in cinema. They're going to have different tastes altogether. So you can't rely on old franchises to bring in a new audience. It's at the end of the day, you need to attract youngsters now to bring their, so when they get older, they can pass on that love to their youngsters. And then,
but in fairness, it's an old franchise. Puss in Boots is an old franchise.
yeah, but what they did smartly was they told a new story. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
But every story is a new story. But like sometimes, like this, yeah.
Yeah, but look, what they did was also. Let me just put it this way. Then they're using an existing franchise, right, and they're telling a good story with that franchise, with great performances and great writing and everything else. Right, put the effort in. Right, it's not enough if they just churned out another crappy movie with the Puss in Boots and it didn't get, it wouldn't. There wouldn't be this kind of like love that the film justifiably got. It justifiably got that love, and
It deserved it.
It deserved it because they told a really good story. I mean, that success could still happen with Star Wars. If someone comes along, apparently Andor, I haven't seen it, I don't really care to, but apparently Andor's pretty good.
If you put love in a craft,
Yeah.
if you respect, like, is a bit of an allegory tale in Puss in Boots. Like maybe the studios are the one who live recklessly and like never learn from their mistake or never love from their don't learn from their mistake and just like we're going to repeat the same thing all over again and hoping that it works.
It's not even like repeating mistakes is part of it, but also picking up the wrong lessons.
And so sometimes you need to this is scary, but you know what? You need to do this.
Yeah.
I know this is scary. I know this is uncertain, but that's what needs to be done.
Yeah. Also, like I think, and I've said this so many times before. Like, okay, I mean, I said it in the last podcast. Look, I don't mind people like I don't mind studios spending big money on franchises, but not every fucking movie. Apparently, like The Secret. I don't know if this is true or not. I mean, I kind of heard it secondhand on another podcast. I think it was either a Flagrant or The Brilliant Idiots, something to do with Andrew Schultz. But apparently, they spent what was it? Over $200 million on Secret Invasion, right? On a TV series of 6 episodes. That's bananas. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Could make a movie?
They could make a movie, or they could trim that budget down and tell a smaller story. Do you know what I mean? Like this is the thing. Is like what they're doing is they're throwing money. They're throwing money at all of these projects, expecting them to bring people to their streaming service, and when they find out that it doesn't hold people to your streaming service. All it does is like, oh yeah, I'll come in, I'll subscribe, I'll watch this. When I'm done, I'll unsubscribe and subscribe when the next. Like for instance, I subscribed to Now TV to watch House of the Dragon, which was thankfully pretty good, and hopefully they don't mess it up like they did.
And when this was over, you unsubscribed?
Well, to be honest with you, the only reason why I didn't cancel my subscription straight away because of The Last of Us. Then I watched Last of Us. Then I unsubscribed. Okay. So like, I'm just gonna happily wait until.
But the problem, they created that.
Yeah. What they're doing is they're creating this situation where like people, if they're interested in Secret Invasion, what they'll do, they'll come in, they'll watch it, and then they'll unsubscribe for 3 or 4 months. So that one person, they're not getting 3 months subscription money out of it, and that's not just one person. That's tens of millions of people doing this. Netflix has been trying to fight against this since day dot. And Netflix. I mean, now Netflix is losing so much of its licensed properties back to Disney, back to Paramount, back to
Before
Universal.
it was the number one.
Yeah, before it was number one because that's where everything was. Mm-hmm. They had to spend like over $100 million just to keep to Warner Brothers to keep Friends on the fucking network. Mm-hmm. And that didn't really work out for them, did it? I mean, like Netflix is still like the £800 gorilla, but Disney. I think Disney. Basically, what's going to end up happening is like you are going to get. It's going to end up with like say 2 or 3 streaming services.
This already is yeah.
Well, no, there's loads of them at the moment, but I think what's going to end up happening, and I think this is consensus. I don't think I'm like the first or I'm going to be the last to say this, but I think generally, like you're going to start seeing these streaming services drop off as they start, like.
Oh, something as well that yes, you're gonna see this first Dorfers, but like continue. Sorry, I was on
No, I saw what I was saying.
But like we didn't watch this movie in a streaming properly. Like like
No, we
it was streamed, but it was not from Netflix. It was not from Apple or Amazon or stuff like that. I rented from YouTube.
Yeah.
Rented for a month.
Yeah.
So it cost me €5.99, €6.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to watch this movie. Maybe I'm gonna watch it with my housemate or stuff like that, and do that. And you know what? It's basically, I think YouTube have the right to rent those movies or buy those movies.
Yeah.
Because if you buy it with your money, they're gonna send a part of the money to the studios or
Sure.
the thing. Yeah. So maybe we're going back to maybe buy movies or series.
Because I've done that with I've done that with
Apple TV does
Apple
that as
TV.
well. Yeah.
Because I did that when I watched Last Night in Soho.
Yeah.
I rented it.
Yeah, you
from
rented. Yeah.
via Apple TV.
I think it's going to be back to this again. Like
like a la carte.
à la carte, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, you don't need to have Paramount streaming to watch that movie. You can rent it to a third party,
Yeah. I mean, like Puss In Boots is made by Universal.
So who would have the right to stream this?
I don't know. I think Universal. Do Universal have their own streaming network yet? I don't know. They all seem to have one way.
Maybe
or
it will
another.
be Netflix or
Yeah, maybe. But things like or on Hulu or something.
or Amazon.
Or Amazon, whatever. But I think generally speaking, like with this whole kind of streaming wars thing, I mean, it is a war, and I think you're going to have a couple, but they're not making any money by the sounds of things. I mean, how can you turn a profit when you're spending $200 million on a TV series? Not just one either. You're doing it repeatedly.
What you do, you cut corners, and the one who are paying are the little people who are working.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like, I don't see it. To be honest with you, I don't really see there being like 10 years ago. Yeah, streaming was the new way. It was the disruptor. It was the new technology. It was a new way forward. The new way of distributing content. But now it seems to be like a reiteration on the American cable TV model, where you got you've got siloed content in different and eventually, I mean, there's going to be bundles.
History is repeating himself.
Yeah. As it always does. Do you know what I mean? And I think what worries me more than anything else, well, I wouldn't say I'm worried. Look, technology changes, times change. There's never, like eventually people are going to get sick of it. And it's just going to be going back to an a la carte model. I think that's probably the most sensible thing for them to do.
And also people are going more to cinema. We thought that Netflix was going to kill cinema and that COVID was going to kill cinema.
Yeah.
But one thing you do see right now, it's Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
basically everybody go to cinema. We're going to see Oppenheimer as we speak today. We're going to see Oppenheimer tomorrow, hopefully.
So that'll be on the 27th of July.
People are excited about movies. Like if the first executives say like, oh, people just don't care about their movies, we can make any movie like they don't care. No, people care, and people care, and people will appreciate if the executive care in return.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what I think it is though? I think what a lot of these like new wave techno fucking executives fail to realise is that we're a social species. The reason why theatre and movie theatres it's a communal experience.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it's like when I didn't see Endgame in the cinema. I saw it on TV, but on a nice TV. But I saw it on TV. But from what I understand, I remember seeing a lot of the footage from Endgame, like at the end when like everyone starts coming in.
You see the screen and you see like hands and people standing up when Captain America pick up the hammer.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone starts going absolutely bananas. That's the thing, that's what they're forgetting. Is like
that's why we go to see match in match, football match, rugby match in a stadium.
It's a communal experience.
You just all scream and you like all concert as well.
It's a communal experience. The thing is, like we are a social species and we value those experiences. So, streaming is not going to be the be all and end all, and never will be.
No.
Right, and the sooner these dickhead executives, and I think it's, to be honest, like I said, it's people whose sole concern, is like the shareholders and quarterly profits. It's those people that fuck up everything because, like, they learn all the wrong lessons. They they're scared of change. They're scared of new things. And when like for instance, like
And they're using technology wrong as well. As I tell you, like they want to use actor likeness to promote the movie in opposition of what's happening right now. Like it's like, oh, the actor is going on strike. It's okay. We have your faces in every movie. We're going to just use your face for the next movie.
See, and that's the thing, though. I mean, this is the problem that they fail to realise is it's not about using the same old movie stars. You need to bring in through new ones. You need to bring through new actors, new faces.
And you think a new actor is going to go in the cinema and say like, oh fuck, I'm going to get ripped in the ass by those executives when I'll say a word about I don't want to do this or I don't want to do that, like, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, like, actually, you know what? I don't know if anyone's seen this, but there's actually like a commentary on that in the new series of Black Mirror. On Netflix, where this like this woman, she's watching a TV series, and the TV series is actually her own life.
Oh, a bit like a Freeman show.
Kind of, but the thing is, what's really cool, what's actually really matter about it is like, so as the story goes on, you find that actually, no, wait a minute, the actress who's playing, what's her name? It's all about Jane or something silly like that. But anyway, it turns out the real woman is on the main, like, on the starter level, and the actress who plays the woman in the second level is playing the movie star in the first level, and the next level up, Salma Hayek is playing the movie star, whereas the movie star it's all Ashley Johnson. I think no, not Ashley Johnson.
It's like a Russian doll of.
Yeah, it goes for. They even comment on it. It's like because what's his name from Scott Pilgrim, who plays Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, I can't remember.
Not John Cena, that's the wrestler. Matthew Serra.
John Cena.
Is it John Serra? No, it's Matthew.
John Cena.
Oh, whatever his name is. But he turns around and he goes...
Michael Cera.
He goes, oh, look at this way. Michael Cera, me, is, Michael Cera licensed his likeness to play this character. It's all the same level. It's all very matter and very
That's
clever.
why we see as well with, deepfake or stuff like that. Now they use voice. You can use voice, they can do face and stuff like that.
Mate, they can do everything. Basically, like they can make. Look at it this way. At some point, like if this podcast ever gets actually popular, we'll cross our fingers and toes on that front. But if it ever gets popular, there could be a time when like there could be an entire podcast with me and you sitting down talking about a movie, but we never shot it. That is actually feasible. It's bananas what's going on at the moment, and I can understand why actors are going on strike and
writers
are going on strike.
Even like it's not all about writers and actors. It's everybody in the cinema industry.
Yeah, I mean it's going to affect everybody, and I think, like I said before, and like you said, the one thing we can guarantee is all these executives are going to take all the wrong lessons, apply them, and find out they're not it doesn't work. It's like, for instance, when Deadpool came out, right? Fox did not want to release that movie. And when they released,
they didn't believe it would be successful, but in their eyes, it was not a successful movie.
Yeah, but the thing is, what they did was they released this kind of like CGI kind of taster that got onto the internet, became massively popular. So Fox but reluctantly gave Ryan Reynolds and his team $60 million to make the film, and it nearly made $1 billion. So it gives you an idea just how little executives know. The things they think will work often don't, and the things they don't think will work often do. Do you know what I mean? Like John Wick. I mean, how many times have I said this? I mean, whatever I might feel about John Wick 3, right? And I didn't think that much of it, nor did you. I think we were both pretty exhausted.
The first John
by
Wick
it.
and the second John Wick.
Yeah, the first John Wick, amazing. Second John Wick, not quite as good. Third John Wick, just exhausting. But it's not to say it's bad. I just didn't think it was great either. But the big
stretching.
Yeah, there
you have the butter and you're like the first scoop is good, but then if you keep like scraping the butter, like it's just getting thinner and thinner and thinner, and you have no butter left.
Exactly. But the thing is, like, yeah, they're taking all the wrong lessons, and like, and
there's not enough butter and the bread is too long.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. But no, but the thing is, I mean, but then you get little films like Puss in Boots, Last Wish, because I've got to bring it back around to this somehow. But yeah, these films like this come out, and it's like, actually, no, Hollywood is capable of producing really cool stuff.
Yeah.
No, it kind of like, it makes me kind of reaffirm my love of cinema. You know, because everyone loves cinema. I mean, we're not special in that regard. I mean, how many fucking movie podcasts are there in the world at the moment? But the fact is, like, you know, films like this can be released if and if you put the right money in the right places, you will be rewarded for it. I mean, this film made nearly $500 million. It made its money back. You turned a profit. You know what I mean? You invest your money sensibly, and guess what? Good things happen for you. So stop being so short-sighted and stupid. Just invest in quality, and you'll be rewarded for it. That's that's what, you know. If anything that I'm trying to say is that it's just stop trying to follow trends. Stop trying to jump on the latest fucking bandwagons regarding, I don't know, whatever's going on in culture and politics at the moment. We won't stray into those waters, but I will kind of drop that slight hint in there. Forget all about that nonsense. What people want, generally speaking, in the main, in the like, I'd say for the majority of cinema goers, for the majority of people who are investing in your streaming networks, for the majority of people who just want to sit down and watch a good movie with their friends or their family or their loved ones. They want a good story. They want good acting. They just want a well-told story. Just give them what we're asking for, lads. You don't have to complicate this bullshit any more than you're already doing. You know? And, you know, if you are going to throw stupid money at a project, man, make sure that money's been wisely invested. Make sure you know what you're doing before you start rolling cameras. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Stop stretching actors like to play a character forever,
Yeah.
even if they don't want to. Or, you know, like we see like Marvel, some actors like are just going back and going back and going back, and at the end it's just like they just don't care anymore. Like, you know, like,
I mean, I can understand why some actors would do it though, because like it's a fucking good payday.
Yeah. Like there's some actors just like do a movie because it's for the money. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, by the end of it, I think fucking like Robert Downey Jr. was getting major bank.
Yeah.
For paying Tony Stark, but at the start,
I remember like Harrison Ford in Star Wars, like, you know, like he was like, I'm not going to, I don't know when you're playing a movie that didn't give me like more than this. Like he would basically ask like a ridiculous like paycheck. It's like, okay, I give it to you. We'll give it to you.
Yeah,
like, yeah, but in one condition. That's my last movie. So just like all these things just fuck them up, like, you know, like, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, we would. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think basically, I want to round this out by saying, because I think how long are we going now? An hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's an hour mark. We hit it.
Oh, we hit
7
it.
minutes ago.
Yay. But you know, I think what I want to do, because I do want to kind of like come back to Puss in Boots and talk about this a little bit before we like shut up shop. But yeah, what the point I want to make is like investing in movies like Puss in Boots is a good little movie that's really enjoyable, and I don't mean that in a derisory way. It's a really enjoyable movie. It's a sort of film that like parents can go with their kids to watch and both have a good time, you know. And there's craft in there, there's care in there, there's artistry in there, you know. And I'm not saying that lightly. There really fucking is. You know, and then it's just like it just shows you what you can do when you take that wedge of money and you give it to the right people, and they are able to turn around something that's like really heartwarming and really emotional and really clever and beautifully done.
It's not only for kids.
It's not only for kids. I mean, basically this kind of reaffirms my love of cinema. It really does, and I'd love to. I don't want to be ranting about bullshit when we're talking about movies. I want us to be able to come on here and we let these conversations go on tangents. I think that's the general nature of conversation.
Most of the time it's the same tangent, and we're talking about like producers and stuff like that. And,
yeah, true, and I appreciate that, but I think
we do repeat ourselves a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, all right, I'll take that on. But I think the reason why I do it, I mean, if you like, this is a little, maybe to a degree, it's a little bit of a crusade on my part. You know, it's just like all I want to do is like, I want to be turning around and saying like, I want to be complimenting the performances. I want to like us to be talking about how brilliant the animation was. I want us to be talking about the really clever use of perspective and animation and foreshortening and music. And we didn't even talk about the fucking music. The music's class.
Like, class music.
Great little music numbers.
Was the cover when he was in the cat house? Was it like the cover? Was it like it was This Is the End, but in Spanish.
Oh yeah, the Doors song. This is the end. Yeah.
My only friend, the end, or in Spanish. So
Yeah. But yeah, the Doors, the end. Yeah. Great
yeah,
tune.
yeah, it's like montage. Yeah,
Yeah, and the kind of opening number, like Puss In Boots is a hero and all that kind of thing. This is what we wanted to be talking about. Don't get me wrong, like I said, I think I like talking about. Don't get me wrong, I do kind of like talking about these issues because I think I think it's interesting.
you don't like talking about them.
No, I like talking about it in a sense, but what I'd rather be doing is I'd rather be praising studios for what they're doing. I'd like them to be spending all that stupid money on like amazing projects because they have done it in the past and they will do it again. But right now, I think there's just this weird situation that we find ourselves in.
Every project could be an amazing project.
Yeah, look, not all projects are going to be amazing. Not all
No,
films
but
are
like
going to be good.
every
but yeah.
no, I'm saying no. Every project could be a very every project could be a great project if you put the craft into it and if you put the effort into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not everything's going to be for everyone, but yeah, if you've got people who care about what they're doing and love what they're doing, I mean, the rewards are there. Mm-hmm. The rewards are there, and I think this is I honestly believe this is probably one of the best movies we've seen since. Actually, you know what? I'm revising my score upwards because I think this is probably no, not 8.8 or anything like that. I reckon this is mid-9s. Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm going with Rotten Tomatoes here. I reckon 95. No,
yeah, 95. Yeah.
I think it's that good.
Yeah, watch it.
Watch
I'm sorry, like if we spoil some things, I'm sorry about that. Like if you watch this video, but like, watch this movie.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, watch it.
But like, if you watch this video, you should have watched it because we're going to promote it as well on.
That's the intention.
But like, recommend that movie to other people, and watch it with your kids, and watch it with your mates, and watch it with your loved one, and watch it with everybody.
Yeah, or just watch it on your own if you really want to.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, we won't judge you if you want to do that.
No, it's fine.
No, we're not here to judge you. We're here to judge movies.
Personally, you over there. No,
you're cool. We like you.
Yeah, the other one behind you, also cool.
Yeah. And the one next to you, also cool. We like you too.
Yeah.
And you on the right there, you're not so bad.
Yeah.
You're okay. We don't mind you at all.
We'll
put up with you for now.
You're a bit ugly, but it's fine. Do you know
that was a little bit harsh, was it not?
No. You're ugly, but you're good inside, you know.
Yeah. Well, you have a beautiful heart.
Yeah, you do have. Yeah, you have a beautiful heart.
Anyway, should we run this out?
Okay, we should. Yeah.
Okay then, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this edition of the Post Watch Post Mortem. We do appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I've been John Clare.
I've been Roman Fresh.
This has been Post Watch Post Mortem, and we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.